everyone, welcome back to our channel. This is Clara.
And this is Denise. And today we're going to be doing another Get Ready With Us video while we're recapping what's been going on in the Lori Vallow trial.
As you remember, Lori Vallow is a woman from the Doomsday couple. She's been accused of 2 counts of first-degree murder and 3 counts of conspiracy in the deaths of her kids, as well as collecting money from their benefits after their deaths.
A lot of key witnesses have been called to the stand in the past few weeks, so we're here to talk about it.
One of the key witnesses that has testified on the stand was Zulema. Zulema was actually married to Lori's brother Alex prior to his death. But one of the things that she said on the stand so far was that Lori had mentioned that JJ had a short life. On the stand actually said that Lori and Chad had insinuated that Tammy had died because they had learned how to
exorcise demons or something like that, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And then she mentioned that Alex had said, I'm gonna be Chad and Lori's fall guy. Fall guy for what, huh? And actually, no, I think she did ask him, what do you mean, what fall guy? Like, what do you mean? And that he didn't answer her.
Yeah, I don't know. Mm-hmm. But I think he just was feeling that he was a fall guy, that he was going to end up doing all their dirty work pretty much.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Or you mean like fall guy as in like they're going to blame everything on me?
Well, that too. So Zulema actually testified that she had seen Lori on the phone and she had heard her say like, idiot, he doesn't know how to do things. He never gets things right. So, you know, obviously it's being assumed that she was referring to Alex failing to kill Brandon. Everybody assumed that Alex intended to kill Brandon, so he shot at him, but he didn't die.
So Brandon is another person who testified. He was married to Lori's niece, Melanie. But obviously he didn't really follow their beliefs, and so their marriage didn't really work out. And I think part of, well, we don't know exactly, but part of why he was shot at was probably to just get rid of him for the niece.
I think that they just didn't, the fact that he didn't support their beliefs, I think that's why he kind of was like, you know, they didn't like his spirit, so I think that's why they tried to kill him, right?
Yes, exactly. Brandon also is the person who identified their bodies, right?
Yeah. He actually was really close to the kids before they died. So he got on the stand and he was very emotional about their deaths because his kids actually were close to...
Oh, Tylee and Jay.
Yeah, before they died. So another key witness that has come to testify is Melanie Gibb.
Ooh, yeah. That's Lori's former bestie. She knows everything about that relationship with Chad and Lori. She was there when they met. She had even said that they hit it off right away and that Lori was super smitten with him.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that she really was.
While she's married with her husband. Girl. She said that Lori had told her, obviously in confidence, that Chad and Lori had slept together while they were still married because they were married in another life. What an excuse, huh?
Right.
She also said that Lori had asked her to lie about JJ's whereabouts, which is kind of shady. I mean, would you lie for me like that, though?
No, I mean, I feel like it's pretty shady because now you're telling me to, you know, do something illegal and possibly have me end up in jail to lie for you, right? So I feel like that's not okay. And especially if they were best friends, I think that that's where it's kind of messed up.
They did play the call. Lori is kind of manipulating her too, saying like, well, you know, one day you'll understand. And Melanie's like, no, like Jesus wouldn't want you to do this. Like, this doesn't seem right to me. She did also mention that Lori believed that her kids were zombies and that JJ was possessed and that he had an evil spirit.
Yeah, she also mentioned that Lori had told her he was acting aggressive, that he was jumping on the counters and stuff like that, right? He was like a demon or something, right?
Right. I think what the defense is trying to do in the trial is kind of discredit everybody because the defense keeps asking them questions that make them seem a little crazy, right? It starts asking them about, like, you believe this, you believe that, your visions, this and that.
Yeah, so I know that when Melanie got on the stand, right, they questioned her about the fact that she had tried to cast out spirits in the past. So that's, like, obviously questioning her credibility.
They were doing that with Melanie's husband. What's his name?
David Warwick.
Yes, David Warwick. They were asking him questions, too, to make him seem kind of loony or crazy. He was saying, too, that he stayed over at Lori's house because Lori was a great host. He wanted to interact with JJ, but he knew that JJ was special needs and JJ wasn't really paying attention to him. But one of the days, Alex came in with JJ, and the next morning they didn't see JJ. He asked, "Where's JJ?" And Lori had said that that's when JJ jumped into the cabinets and knocked a picture of Jesus. David Warwick was saying, "Well, can I see JJ?" And they were like, "No." Basically, he wanted to see him to give him a blessing because of everything that happened. But he said that when he looked at the cabinets and the refrigerator, there was no scuff mark. So he was, like, kind of confused. David Warwick also mentioned that Chad Daybell had told him that he had a dream that his wife Tammy was gonna die before he hit 50 years old. Boy,
I think if I was a juror, I would automatically think that they did, they were involved because of everything that they were saying before people died, right?
Right.
I feel like everything incriminated them. So one of the most important witnesses this far has been Colby Ryan.
Oh, yeah.
Colby was Lori's eldest son. He actually had a conversation with his mom over the phone, and they played that audio during the trial.
The audio was so crazy. The way that she's just kind of, like, deflecting and gaslighting him and trying to manipulate him, like, saying, like, you weren't there. Like, one day you'll understand. And he's just asking her, like, questions to try to understand, like, why did you do this? Like, why did you do this to my siblings? It's just so crazy. Like, how do you not get so frustrated you want to just jump over that window and be like, tell me?
That was very compelling audio that they played because obviously what he's just trying to do is get answers from his mom. And can you imagine if that was your mom and she's just, how you said, deflecting the question, not answering your questions about the whereabouts of your siblings?
Colby had mentioned that Lori had spent all their life protecting them, protecting her kids, but it all changed once she met Mr. Chad Daybell.
Yeah, so he said that on the stand, which was, very important to the trial. The evidence of the audio that he had between his mom was very important because in the call, pretty much is accusing her of killing his siblings, right?
Yeah.
So that was, like, very important to the case because, obviously that shows that even her son thought that she did something, right? And she knew where they were. She just wasn't saying. And the fact that when he asked her where the kids were, she would just, say, you don't know what happened. So obviously by her saying that, it's, kind of implying, like, maybe she knows what happened, right?
Right. Yeah.
And also,
that he wouldn't understand what happened, but because she knows what happened, she understands.
Yeah. Lori was saying you weren't there. So that's also another thing where, so if she's saying that, then was she there? Or does she know who was there? Right? So that's very important because that, Lori conspired in this. So obviously her even knowing about who was there, what happened to them, even if she wasn't there, she knew about it. And clearly in the call, that's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Anytime that people have asked Lori about what happened to the kids or where they were at prior to everybody knowing that they were dead, she never gave, straight answers.
Yeah, so if she really thinks she was doing the right thing by killing them because she's cleansing them of these zombies, how come she doesn't straight up just say, yeah, I did it? Yeah, so what? I did it because I'm cleansing my children. She's always denied it, so she knows she's in trouble with the law.
Yeah, because I think that if you actually believe something, you would stand up for what you believe, right? So you would actually voice it out and you would say, like, this is what I believe and this is what's right and this was right. So we killed them because of this and this. Obviously, in, like, all her calls and everything, she never tries to admit anything. I think she's being strategic because she never tries to admit what she's done or what she knows. even though she had all these beliefs, I feel like she somehow was still being strategic about her answers.
So the defense was also trying to humanize Lori, right? It's kind of seemed like that, where they're asking Colby questions about their upbringing.
Yes. So, I mean, they're trying to humanize her in the sense of, you know, they ask him questions about their religion. So, who taught you religion? My mom, Lori. Who, you know, showed you about God? My mom, Lori. So all those things make her look like she's not this evil person who conspired in killing her kids and, you know, Chad's wife and all these people that, you know, died. So I think that was like, you know, a big thing that the defense was doing to make sure that people know that she didn't do anything.
Yeah, I think the defense is really trying to lead the jury into thinking that Lori wasn't there. And there's no forensic evidence to say that Lori was actually at the place where the children died, or Charles died, or Tammy died. She was somewhere else. She's always somewhere else. So I think that's what the defense is really trying to grab onto. I mean, what do you guys think? Tell us in the comments.
By making her seem like she's this good person, you know, with those questions that they had for Colby, then they move her away from being this evil person that did all this.
So what do you think about when Colby was mentioning Tylee's texts?
Yeah, he actually said that it didn't sound like Tylee, right?
Yeah.
That it didn't sound like the words that she would use on like regular text before she died. So I guess that was kind of suspicious for him.
Yeah, because I think he mentioned that they texted every single day, right? She went MIA for a bit and then she answered, but it was different. And I mean, you know, like you and I text all day. I feel like if someone were to grab your phone and start texting as you, I'd know it's not her. Cause this girl,
you know?
Yeah, because I know the way that Denise texts to me, and so if someone else was trying to text pretending to be you, I would straight up know that it's not you.
That's true.
So yeah, Colby's testimony was it was just pretty sad to watch. Like, he has to deal with, you know, his narcissistic mother and the results of like how her actions.
Yeah, I think that he got emotional on the stand when they actually showed him a picture of his sister. So that was also very sad, even though we can't even see, because obviously we're listening just like how everybody else is. We're just listening in once they post the audio of the trial. So it is kind of hard to imagine people and their emotions. But obviously if you hear him crying, then you know he's getting emotional on the stand.
Other people that have testified have been the cops that showed up at Charles' shooting. When they made that 911 call, the cops showed up and they interviewed Lori and Alex, because Alex is the one who shot Charles Vallow. So I know the names are so confusing. They sound so similar. So there's Charles Vallow, which is Lori's fourth husband. That's the man that she was married to right before she met Chad. Chad is her fifth husband, and that's the man who basically is being accused of being involved in all these deaths.
This trial is really confusing. There's a lot of parts to it. There's a lot of people involved. So I think it
similar
is
names.
Yeah.
Like there's two Melanies. There's Melanie the bestie, and then there's Melanie the niece.
Especially if people aren't watching, you know, they haven't been keeping up for the past few years, it is pretty confusing.
The cops that were called to the scene, they mentioned when they interviewed Lori and Alex about Charles's shooting that their stories actually did kind of match. But they did mention she didn't seem very emotional at all when they were riding back from the police station back to their house. Even if it's your ex-husband who you don't love, who you're kind of like over, but if he's shot at and dead, shouldn't you at least, I don't know, feel something?
I think she should have shown a little more emotion, because regardless of who it is, if I were to see a stranger die, I would get emotional, because it's like, you know, somebody's life, it's somebody's family member who died. So obviously that says a lot about her. During the trial, they actually did show footage of Lori being questioned at the police station the day that Charles got shot and killed.
Wasn't she all ha-ha hee-hees? Like she was like laughing or...
she was honestly talking very normal, you wouldn't think that somebody died. Honestly. So Lori actually was talking about the relationship between her and Charles. They weren't living together anymore, that she didn't want to be with him anymore, and that he actually was going to fly in to take the kids to school, and that she had Alex stay there because she didn't know like if things were going to get crazy, and that's the reason why he was actually there the day that, you know, he pretty much killed Charles.
To me, that sounds like it's all planned. Like, hey, Alex, my brother, come over and protect me from this guy who might get crazy, and in case something happens, shoot him. That's probably what she said. Who knows? What do you guys think?
Well, Alex was referred to as like her protector, so he was there. He was staying with her just in case something, you know, popped off with Charles, and coincidentally something supposedly did pop off. That's how Charles was killed.
Yeah, you know, they always mention about Lori and Alex's relationship, their brother and sister relationship, and how it's so weird or odd. Like they were very uncomfortably close.
Yeah, I think someone had mentioned something about Lori jumping on top of Alex, kind of like in a sexual way, right?
Oh no.
So obviously, you know, that self-defense claim, you know, they ended up finding out that it wasn't self-defense. He did kill Charles, but obviously Alex is dead now, so there's not really much to do in that case. The latest testimony was actually from the sister of Lori Vallow, the youngest sister.
Yes.
Her name is Summer Shiflet. They played some audio between a jail call between Summer and Lori. And so that one, you know, it was very intense and very emotional, and honestly I felt really sad for her, and I almost wanted to cry listening to that audio, because you can tell that she is in a place where I love my sister, but at the same time, how could she do this?
Right.
You know, so you don't expect that from a family member.
Yeah, and Summer is telling her, like, if you don't want the kids, you could have just give them to me. Like, I could have taken care of them instead of you, like, tossing them, like, she said, like, tossing them like garbage, burying them in the pet cemetery. And Lori's just so calm the entire time. Summer's telling her, like, none of this is okay. And Lori's kind of agreeing with her, but she's also not admitting guilt. Just like the call with Colby.
See, she's angry at her because of the fact that this happened, and obviously she doesn't know the fact. She doesn't know if she actually had anything to do with the deaths. There's all this evidence. In a way, she probably does believe it, but she just doesn't want to. Your sister, who knows you from your whole life and knows that you love your children from what she saw, never did anything, you know, to the children, treated them good all the time, and suddenly they die and they're, you know, in her new husband's backyard.
She mentioned that Alex was in a car accident when he was 16 and he had a brain injury, and he kind of made a lot of decisions as if he was 16 still. So maybe that was the key for Lori to be able to manipulate her brother. What do you think?
I mean, now I'm thinking that they manipulated him because he couldn't think for himself. If he had, like, the mind of a 16-year-old, you know, he didn't know right from wrong.
And very impulsive.
I think that's how she got him to do the dirty work. There's not really evidence that points to her committing the murders or anything. That call had me really emotional. I mean, I can't even imagine if it was my sister, where you have to decide, like, should I believe what the evidence is showing, what the cops are saying, what the news is saying? This is what my sister's telling me during the call that they played on the trial. Lori didn't really answer much, even though Summer was upset with her about what happened, and she just kept her cool. And
yeah, because Summer was letting her have it. She was like, how could you do this to children? And she's like, no, I mean, it seemed like it was the right thing to do or something like that, right? And then her sister Summer is like, there's nothing in the scripture that says that it's okay for you to hurt children.
That's the latest, and I know that there's still going to be more witnesses to come, because this trial is supposed to go on for, I want to say they had said, 8 to 10 weeks or something. There's going to be more compelling evidence and more audio and, you know, more things, and hopefully they have some direct evidence that, you know, actually proves that Lori, you know, did have some involvement. Her calmness also doesn't make her look right. You know, obviously if your kids died, you would be broken. So we're going to be keeping up with the trial. I'm sure that they're going to have a lot more witnesses. It's been very interesting this far. I feel like it's very frustrating to hear how Lori, she didn't care so much. She wasn't emotional. She's like a robot. She doesn't have any emotion towards losing her kids, regardless of how, if she did it or if Chad killed them or Alex killed them, those were still her kids.
She doesn't seem to have any remorse. I think that's the right word, because she really thinks that she did the right thing. We're gonna see what the defense and the prosecution are gonna be presenting.
We're gonna be making another video. Obviously the trial is barely like halfway. There's still a lot left. I'm sure there's
a lot of bombshells are gonna drop.
Oh yes, more audios. I wish that we could see the reactions, right?
Right. We hear descriptions from reporters that say how they were looking at each other. For example, when Melanie, her former bestie, came in, they kind of weren't really making eye contact. Like if one was looking at the other one would turn away. But there was a description of when Melanie was coming in and she was sitting down, that Lori was looking at her up and down, and she kind of made like a rolling her eye type of gesture, which is expected. I mean, she's probably gonna be like, damn, this lady is gonna burn me.
She's gonna bring all the truths.
She's gonna bring all the tea, spill all my secrets.
Yes, which she did. We can't wait. I mean, obviously it's a very sad trial. You know, lives were lost, unfortunately, but it's been very interesting, and we wish we could see her reaction and see how she actually thinks that she's smarter than other people. Because I feel like so far she thinks that she's gonna get away with it. She actually believed these thoughts of her beliefs. I don't know, right?
That her religion is gonna save her. I think that's what she thinks.
Towards the end of Summer Shiflet's testimony, which is Lori's sister, they did question her once again about how Lori raised her children. So like,
yeah, they did. So they asked her, like, do you think that the children were raised to be kind to others? She says yes. Then they ask her, do you agree with Colby's testimony about Lori has always been protective of her kids? And then she says yes. And then they're like, but that changed after she met Chad. And she said yes. So it kind of seems like they're gonna try to sway it to blame Chad, and that Lori's free to go.
For me, it makes me feel that they're gonna try to say he was kind of manipulating her or something, right? Because everything changed when Chad came to her life. So now the fact that they ended like that, it made me think like, okay, I think they're gonna just try to shift everything to Chad, and now he's the one that did everything,
right? Because that was the last question that the defense asked Summer. So it's kind of like cutting it at that point to sear into their brains.
The prosecution was smooth to go in and right away switch it back to Lori, right? Yes. I was like, oh man.
I know. What was that last question? He said, when Lori told you that they were safe, did she lie to you? She said yes. That's all I have, Your Honor.
Mic drop. That's it. No.
Yep.
Bye.
Yep. Let's let that get seared into their brains now. Did I say it right? Seared? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Am I using that word correctly?
Like seared food?
Yeah. So we're going to be tuning in to the next testimonies, which should be coming up soon. So we will be recapping that. Thank you so much for watching this video. And like, subscribe. What's this? Where did this come from?
I don't know.
Anyway, like, subscribe, comment, set your notifications to get an alert every time we post a video. We are probably going to be posting a lot more.
Yes.
So, tell us what you like, what you don't like, and we'll see you on the next one.
Bye. Bye.